Good morning, students. Today we are continuing our chapter Is Matter Around Us Pure? And we have already studied what is mixture and what are different types of mixture. And today we are going to study the different separating techniques of the mixture, because there are many mixtures which exist in nature and we want to separate its components. The components of a mixture can be separated by various methods. Some techniques are used to separate the components of mixture are evaporation, which is normally used in sea water to extract the salt, centrifugation, decantation, sublimation, centrifugation, chromatography, distillation and crystallization. First, we are going to discuss our first method, that is evaporation. This method is used for separating a volatile component from a non-volatile component by heating the mixture. Example, we can obtain color component dye from ink by evaporation. In this technique, mostly the volatile component is the solvent, which is larger in amount, and non-volatile is the solute, which is lesser in amount. Let us go to the next one, that is centrifugation. I hope many of you have seen your grandmothers or mothers churning the milk to take out the butter. That method is the centrifugation method. Actually, they are spinning the curd so rapidly that the lighter component, which is butter, it comes above the buttermilk, and buttermilk, which is heavier, it settles down. So the method of separating denser particles and lighter particles from a mixture by spinning rapidly is called centrifugation. And example, separating cream from milk. Centrifugation find its wide applications, like it is used in diagnostic laboratories for blood and urine test. I hope many of you have seen the typhoid test. In typhoid test, as shown in the diagram, the blood sample is taken, then it is centrifuged. After that, the Vidal test is being done for it. Then the second one, use in washing machines to squeeze cloth. And I hope all of you have seen that spinner, and while we go for the spinning, it continuously rotates, and after some time the whole water is out. Why? Because water is having more density and it squeezes down. Chaliye, let us go to the next one. The next is decantation. We have studied in class 6 that decantation is a process in which we make the heavier component to settle down and the lighter component is being separated out slowly. And here we are going to do the same process of decantation, but we will be doing using the separating funnel. Separating funnel is shown in the diagram. This method is used for separating a mixture of immiscible liquids, means the liquids which are not mixing with each other. Okay, normally when we are taking oil and water and we shake them, but they are not mixed properly, oil forms a layer on the water. So the principle behind decantation using separating funnel is to separate the liquids which can form two different layers depending on their density. The one which is denser will be at the lower end and the one which is lighter will be on towards the upper end. As you can see in the diagram, the water which is denser is towards the lower end, and we can separate out the water, and the other one, that is oil, it will remain in the funnel, and after removing water in the other beaker we can remove the oil also. Let us go to the next one, that is sublimation. Sublimation is a method which is used to separate a mixture of a sublimable component from a non-sublimable component by heating the mixture. In first chapter we have studied what is sublimation. Sublimation means getting converted into gaseous state without becoming the liquid by solids. Means the solids are getting converted into gases, and in between they are not becoming the liquid. And its best example is ammonium chloride. When ammonium chloride is heated, or naphthalene balls that are being used in our clothes, so naphthalene balls, they directly sublimate, and we can use the method sublimation to separate the mixture of ammonium chloride and common salt. Let us go to the next one. The next method is chromatography. This method is used for separating colored component from a liquid by using a filter paper or blotting paper, and this paper is known as chromatogram. You can see in this jar a paper strip, that is chromatogram, is being kept, and after that it is kept for some time, and we see the results as shown towards the other end. We must note that the water should touch very slightly to the chromatogram, otherwise it will not give us the desired results. Okay, now let us go to the next process, that is distillation. This method is used for separating a mixture of miscible liquids by boiling the mixture and cooling and condensing the vapors. You have seen the pressure cooker, and when it whistles we can see the vapors, and if you are putting a thali near it, you will be seeing that after some time the water vapors are getting condensed over there. And also if you are taking out a glass of ice cold water and keeping it, then it condenses the water vapors present in the air. So in the same way, firstly the liquids are heated. The volatile liquid means the liquid which is very having very low temperature, it evaporates and then it is condensed to separate out. And the caution is we should not heat it too much, otherwise the vapors of both the liquids, it will get mixed and our process of separation will not occur. And let us go ahead with the classification of distillation. Distillation is of two types. One is simple distillation. In simple distillation we are separating out two components only, and there is the other one which we call fractional distillation. Simple distillation is used to separate acetone and water, whereas fractional distillation you have studied last year that it is used to separate the components of petroleum. So fractional distillation is used for separating a mixture of two or more miscible liquids whose difference in boiling is less than 25 Kelvin. Means they are very close to each other in their boiling points. Around 25 degrees Celsius is the difference. The apparatus used for fractional distillation is similar to that used for simple distillation, except that a fractionating column is fitted between the distillation flask and the condenser. So, fractional distillation, it is very much similar to the simple distillation. The difference is simple distillation is used for two components and fractional distillation is used for many components, means more than two components. And remember, distillation can be done only and only with the liquids which are miscible with each other. If they are not miscible, then we must go for the decantation using separating funnel, and if they are miscible, then we will be going for the distillation. Fractional distillation is used for separating the components of petroleum, and it is used for separating the different gases from air. Let us see how it is done. Air, first it is compressed, then cooled, and this compressing is done by increasing the pressure and cooling is done by decreasing the temperature. Air becomes liquefied air. After that, we allow it to warm up slowly, and this warming up is done by filling it in the distillation column, and slowly as the air gets warmed up, the different gases, oxygen, argon, nitrogen, they all get separated out. So nitrogen having lowest boiling point used to get separate out first, then argon, and then oxygen. Let us go to our next process, that is crystallization. In class 7, we have prepared the crystals of copper sulfate, and here at that time we just thought we have just prepared the crystals, but now we are going to deal the main purpose, and the main purpose is to remove the impurities from that copper sulfate. So crystallization is a process of obtaining a pure solid crystal from its solution, and its best example just now I have told that we are taking the pure copper sulfate crystals from the impure copper sulfate crystals. And I hope you might be remembering that how it is being done. First we were taking the impure copper sulfate solution, then dissolving it in the water, putting a few drops of acid, sulfuric acid, concentrated sulfuric acid. After that we used to heat it till the crystallization point, and then after the crystallization point has reached, we used to keep it untouched, and after some time we were able to see the crystals of copper. I hope you are remembering that process. And these were the different techniques which were used to separate the components of a mixture. Now let us come to different types of pure substances. Pure substances are of two types. One is element and other one is compound. What is element? Element is the basic form of matter which cannot be broken down into simpler substances by chemical reaction. Elements are of three types. One is metal, then non-metal, and metalloids. Metalloids are also known as semi-metals. Okay, let us study the properties of metals. Metals have luster, they are malleable, ductile, good conductor of heat and electricity, they are sonorous, they are hard, and its examples are iron, aluminium, zinc, mercury, copper, silver, gold, etc. You might be remembering that almost all the metals are solid except for mercury. Mercury is a liquid. Okay, the next one is properties of non-metals. They do not have luster, they are non-malleable, they are non-ductile, they are poor conductor of heat and electricity, they are not sonorous, and they exist as solid, liquid, gases in all the states of matter. Now let us go to the third one, that is metalloids. What are metalloids? Metalloids are the elements which have some properties of metal and some properties of non-metals. Means it is the mixture of metal and non-metal. We call them as semi-metals also. Example, boron, silicon, germanium, etc. Now let us go to the last one, that last topic, that is compound. A compound is a substance composed of two or more elements chemically combined together in a fixed ratio. Example, water, carbon dioxide, sugar, salt, iron sulfide, etc. Now the question is, since very beginning of the chapter we are studying that two or more substances are mixed together and they form the mixture, and now we are studying that a compound is also something like that. In that also two things are mixed, but it is said pure. In order to find out whether the given substance is a mixture or a compound, means it is impure or pure, we must know the difference between mixture and the compounds. Mixtures, it is composed of two or more elements or compounds in any ratio. If you are taking sugar solution, then you may take 1 glass and 2 spoons, you may take 1 glass and 3 spoons of sugar, you may take as many spoons as you want, and one child may be there who is saying that I am having 1 glass and I am just going to put a pinch of sugar in it, but still it will be a sugar solution. The next one, that is compound. Compound is composed of two or more elements but in fixed ratio. Means if you are taking water from RO, it will have 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. If you are taking water from lake, it will also have the same composition, 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen. And if you are taking it from sea, then again it is having the same composition, that is 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 atom of oxygen. So mixture does not have a fixed composition, whereas compound have a fixed composition. Next, the components of mixture, they show their individual properties. Like sugar is sweeter in taste, and if we are dissolving in water, we will still feel that it is sweet in taste. But in case of compound, the properties of element are so blend together that they doesn't resemble to the parent. For example, if I am burning magnesium ribbon, means adding magnesium and oxygen to each other, and they will form magnesium oxide. Magnesium oxide is just like ash. So if we are seeing the magnesium oxide is completely different from magnesium and oxygen. And the next and the last point of difference is the mixture can be separated by physical methods, whereas compounds, they cannot be separated by physical methods. Just now we have studied different methods of separation. The mixtures can be separated by these methods, but the components of compound cannot be separated by these methods. In order to separate the components of compound, we must have some chemical methods. So let us find. This was today's topic, and we will be seeing each other in tomorrow's class with the question answers of this topic. Thank you and have a nice day.